I moved to Wisconsin in 1963, and the reason that my family moved here was to get away from some of the discrimination and prejudices that was taking place in Mississippi. We thought it would be a better life not having to deal again with some of the consequences that I dealt with growing up. Having moved here, I remember working with Father Grappi, who was a great individual. I had an opportunity to work with him in fixing sandwiches for demonstrators during that point in time. And his goal was to make sure that everybody got equal housing. When I first moved to Wisconsin, African Americans and Latinos were gathered in a particular area. We couldn't go any further. And he felt that people should be able to live wherever they wanted to live, regardless of who they were, or what backgrounds they came from. I do believe that people should have that opportunity to live wherever they want to live. It's their choice, without being ridiculed or talked about, for that matter, based on their color or who they are.
I believe in supporting immigrant rights and making sure that we're being respectful and supportive of all people that come into this country. I believe in this cause because I'm just, first of all, I realize I'm privileged being a first-generation American that easily blends into this country. Not everyone has that ability. And I'm extremely disturbed by recent political talk where we're starting to pick out certain immigrant groups and discriminate against them, and not giving people the choice or the chance to just show who they are and to add their strengths to this country. I believe this is what makes America great.
The reason is we have so many kids in public education that came to this country in a very young age. And in order for them to go to a higher education, they need legislation, that they need reforms for them to achieve or go to a higher education, to go to the college, and to be members of society the way we want them to be as.
I fight for Best Buddies. I'm an advisor here at Bayview High School for Best Buddies, which is an international organization that pairs special ed students and regular ed students in friendship. They also promote leadership and activism and self-advocacy. I continue to fight for it because it's naturally something I am interested in. The rights, I can see the benefits immediately of friendship between any people, all people. And I have an example of one of my students a few years ago who was one of my special needs students who had difficult time communicating. And he didn't even interact a lot with the peers, with the peer buddies, the regular ed students, but every time he would come to lunch with your buddy, he would just perk up, and not even really look at everybody else, but be glad he was there. And the power of that friendship keeps me going.
The cause that I believe in is supporting all students and adults that are in the LGBTQ community. And the reason I do that is I think that everyone should, if they can't be an ally, they should still respect everyone regardless of their gender identity or sexual orientation. And I think that that community should have any and all rights and respect that anybody gets.
So in my classroom, probably the most important rule that we have is respect, and to respect one another and respect ourselves. As a teacher, I think that that's one of my primary responsibilities. And given how diverse Bayview is in all ways, I think we're really, really lucky here at Bayview that we have an incredibly diverse population in terms of race and culture, language, faith, gender identity, sexual orientation, age, class, economics. I think and political viewpoint, we're very diverse. I think that as a teacher, my primary job is to make sure that student voices are heard and to ensure that my voice as a teacher does not drown out student voices. So if I personally disagree with a viewpoint, it's important that I remain neutral in that every student, whether they agree with me or disagree with me, feels safe speaking in my class. And along with ensuring that they feel safe speaking to me, that they feel safe speaking with their classmates.
I think it's important for teachers to remain neutral when it comes to hot button issues in the classroom. That's not to say that the issues shouldn't be discussed in class. It's actually important that they are. It's just that the teacher's role should be more of a moderator slash facilitator, making sure that both sides of the issues are presented, that the conversations stay respectful, teach students how to discuss hot button issues in a respectful manner with each other, as well as teaching students the difference between a credible and non-credible resource. I think when educators start expressing their own biases when it comes to these emotional issues, there's a risk of overtaking the conversation, taking the floor away from the students, as well as possibly alienating those who don't agree with what the teacher is saying.
And if someone told me that at my job I could not support that, I would have a big problem, because as a social worker, my job is to make sure that everyone is respected and treated the same, and make sure that everybody feels safe and supported at their school.
Well, would change my life drastically, because I know the fact that there are kids in need of these reforms, and due to that, I would, in case they ask me that they're no longer going to do something about this, I would do whatever I can is in my reach, join groups to help to make sure this also happen, to help them achieve their goal.
I thought about this. This was a tough one for me, actually. My first reaction would be relief, because I put a lot of effort into it. It's always on my mind. And I was a little relieved that if I didn't have to do it, that would be my initial thing, like, oof, now I have time for something else. But I can see myself immediately feeling guilty that maybe these students don't have somebody to support them now and listen to them. And I would feel sad that I couldn't be there and experiencing that with them.
If I had to stop doing what I was doing and what I was teaching as an educator and teaching kids diversity and how to respect each other, and being able to live wherever you want, I would probably look at retiring at that point in time, because I feel that I would have served as much as I could have. I'm not saying that I wouldn't do anything later as retirement, with maybe working with small groups to ensure that students or individuals understand that they do have the right to choose.
If I were told I was not able to speak up on this topic, I'd feel I was no longer in America. I would be extremely disturbed, because what makes America strong is diversity, and what is part of being American is being able to speak up.